So here just now I completed 3 rules. First rule, signatures must, which one, method signatures must be same. Rule number 2, so overridden method return type and overriding method return type must be same at primitive level. Rule number 3, it is possible to change the return type by using covariant return type concept, right? Good. Now here the next one we will discuss the rule number 4. So what is the rule number 4, Ratan? So coming to rule number 4, in the parent class the father declared the final modifier here. Final modifier here. If a parent is declared as a final, the parent is declared as final. If a overridden method is declared as a final, it is not possible to override the final methods in the child classes. It is not possible to override final methods in the child classes. In inheritance concept you completed, it is not possible to extend the final classes. If a class declared as a final, extension is not possible, inheritance is not possible. If a method declared as a final, overriding is not possible. Overriding is not possible. I will write an example. So check the example here. This is my parent class and child class. You know, this is a previous example. So here is the animal class not required. Void Mary. So parent class contains Mary method. This method is called, you know, overridden method. Overridden method. This method is called, so tell me which method here? Overriding method, right? Overridden method and overriding method. Now generally code is compiled, code is executed, the output is the red girl is printed. Good. But here the father declared the parent class method is a final. If you overridden method declared as a final, it is not possible to override that method in the child class. So that method in the child class. If you want to compile it, code is compiled or not, it is saying error message. Overridden method is the final. So overridden method is the final means parent class method is the final, child class method is the final. Overridden means parent class method is the final. We cannot override that method in the child class. This is the rule number how much? Overriding rule number 4. Overriding. So rule number 4 I completed here. This is the rule number overriding, rule number 4. So clear? So what is rule number 4 here? So overridden method final. So final methods overriding not possible. Final method overriding is not possible. That's rule number 4. Next one is the overriding rule number 5. What is the rule number 5? So you know here, so concentrate. So to prevent the inheritance concept, how to prevent the inheritance concept? Declare the class with the final, inheritance is not possible. How to prevent the overriding concept? How to prevent overriding? Declare the class with the declare the method with the final, then it is not possible to override. So we are preventing inheritance and overriding by using final modifier. So clear? That is our rule number 4. What is rule number 4 also completed? What is rule number 4 here? So final methods overriding is not possible. So clear? Good. So based on these final methods, so here I will discuss the final variables also. Just check the final variables here. So you know final class first of all. So what is the final class here? If a class declared as a final, for example here, if a class declared as a final, so you know class declared as a final means cannot inherited. If a method declared as a final means, so tell me, cannot override. So concentrate here, cannot inherit if a class declares final. If a method declares as a final, overriding method is final, not overriding is not possible, right? In the same way, I will declare the variable as a final. So here I declared integer a equal 10, integer a equal to 10. I am writing a equal to a plus 10. So generally I am printing that value. How to print that value? So system dot out dot println of a value. Tell me, I am saying this application name is Durga.java. The class name is also I am writing Durga generally. The class name is the Durga. Now tell me, in this case I compile sorry, the file name is Durga, right? Java C Durga.java. Code is compiled. The Java, but the class name here, Durga. What is output? A equal to a plus 10, so it will become 20. So what is output here? 20 will be printed. I declared this variable is the final. If a variable declared as a final, so now tell me what is the output. So variable declares the final. Now generally everyone says the output means Ratan 10 is printed, Ratan, but 10 is not printed. It says error message. Read the error message here. So what is the problem here? Cannot assign a value to final variable A. What is the problem here? Cannot assign a value to final variable A. A equal to a plus 10. Initial value is the 10, but you are trying to reassign. So if you are trying to reassign the value, so reassignment is possible or not possible here? Reassignment is not possible. So that is information regarding final variables. So here it is not possible to reassign the final variables. That is information regarding your final modifier. So final classes cannot extended. Final methods cannot override. Final variables means we cannot modify that value. And you know this variable is which variable here? Obviously local variable. In entire Java, for the local variable only one modifier is applicable. For the local variables, how many modifiers are applicable here? Only one modifier is applicable. That modifier is a final modifier. Always local variables, how many modifiers? Only one modifier, that is final modifier. So clear? This is information about your final variables. So based on these conclusions, so I will give an important interview question here. So I declared this class is the final. So class Durga is the final. I declared integer a equal to 100. So here I am declaring void m1 method. Inside this method, you can please print system.out.println of. Now tell me, this is here I am trying to reassign the value. So what is the value here? A equal to a plus 10. Just I would like to print that a value. Now I would like to call m1 method. m1 is an instance method accessed by using object new Durga dot. The method name is called m1 method. This is my application. Tell me, class Durga is the final. Final means we cannot extend it, you know. So here I am trying to extend. So test class. So test extends Durga class. This extension is possible or not possible? Obviously. So extension is not possible. So we cannot extend the final classes. But now the question here, I declared in the final class, I declared one variable here. So I declared one variable, right? Good. So here I declared one method. Now I am asking small question. The final class variables are final or not? And final class methods are final or not? I hope question is clear. Final class variables are final or not? And final class methods are final or not? So clear. Good. Now tell me, final class variables are final or not? Final or not? So generally, you know, if it is a final means a equal to a plus 10, reassignment is not possible. Now do the compilation. Code is compiled, no problem at all. Java Durga 110 is printed. 110 is printed means this is possible. Reassignment is possible means final class variable, it is final or not? Final class variables not a final. A final class variable is not a final, right? Good. That point is good, no problem. And the next one is the final class methods. Now here I am asking, final class methods are final or not? Final class methods are final or not? At least tell me, what about this answer here? What is this answer here? The final class methods are by default final. Final class methods final only. Tell me why? Why, Ratan? Tell me, if it is not a final, we are able to override, right? Assume it is not a final, we are able to override. To override that method, we must child create the child class. But here child class creation is possible or not possible here? Class is a final means child class creation possible or not possible? So child class creation is not possible. If the child class creation is not possible means how to override that method? M1 method overriding possible or not possible? Overriding is not possible. If the overriding is not possible means obviously this is by default. This is a final method. So now the conclusion here, concentrate. Class is a final. So the conclusion here, the final class variables are not a final, but final class methods are by default final. The final class methods are by default final. This is not a rule. General interview question here. This is a final class members. So clear? That is the rule number how much? The rule number 4 is completed. The rule number 4 is completed. Now here, so what is the rule number here? 4 here. Final methods cannot override. So now if any interviewer asking, tell me define the one. Tell me about something about final modifier. Final modifier is applicable for the classes, methods, variables. Simple point. Classes, methods, variable. If a class declared as a final, we cannot extend that class. We cannot extend that class. If a method declared as a final, we cannot override that method in the child class. Point number 3. What is the point number 3 here? If a class declared as a final, we cannot reassign the value. We cannot modify the value. We cannot reassign the value. Now interviewer asking, Ratan, I declared the class is a final. Tell me, the final class contains some variables, some methods. The final class variables are final or not, and final class methods are final or not. Tell me, final class variables are final or not? Final class variables are not a final, but final class methods are final by default. Final by default. That's the overall rule number 4. So I am repeating all the rules one more time. Listen. Rule number 1. While overriding, parent class method signature, child class method signatures must be same. Like you can say, overridden method signature and overriding method signatures must be same. What is the rule number 2? While overriding method, the overridden method return type and overriding method return types must be same at primitive level. Int, float, double must be same. Rule number 5. It is possible to change the return type at a class level. So parent class return type is parent, child class method return type is child class. That concept is called which concept? Covariant return type concept, introduced in 1.5 version. So what is the rule number 4? If a method declared as a final, if the father is declared final, we cannot override that method in the child class. We cannot override that method in the child class. There is a rule number 4. The next one is the rule number 5. Then what is the rule number 5? Rule number 5. So I will discuss the rule number 5 regarding static modifier. So tell me here, generally instance methods linked with object, always memory allocated during object creation, right? Instance is linked with object. What about static? So you know static methods memory allocated during class loading, right? Static methods memory allocated during class loading. So instance methods are always linked bounded with the object, and static method bounded with the class. So I hope the point is clear. Static methods are bounded with the class. Instance methods are bounded with the object. Now I will write the static method example. Can please concentrate. Now class test. So here I declare this is my static modifier. So this is my static method. Here also it is my static method. It is my static method. So general I am creating object. How to create the object here? Tell me how to create the object. Create the child class object. Child c equal to new child of. Child c equal to new child of. I called c dot. The method name is called marry method. C dot marry means obviously what is output here? Code is compiled, code is executed. Sorry. So can please execute the test class, right? So good. The class name is called test class. So invalid method declaration, return type is required. So here return type is a void I am declaring. Good. So code is compiled, fine. Java, what is the class name here? Test class. Oh, After compilation, how many dart class was generated here? Parent dart class and child dart class. Which class contains main method? Which class contains main method? Child class, right? Can you please execute the child class? So always which class contains main method, execute that class, right? Red girl only printed. Then static method seems to be good, but this example is not good. So don't think about this example. In order to understand the static method, I will give another example. So concentrate. What is the another example, Ratan? The next one is very important example. What is the next one here? So generally concentrate in Java. In the as part of overriding rule number 5, we will discuss number of points. I declared class child. So I declared, first of all, I declared class parent. The class parent means here the class child extends which class here? Parent class. Now tell me, in this case, I am creating object of parent class. How to create the object of parent class? Parent p equal to new parent of. This is valid or invalid? Perfectly. Tell me, perfectly valid or invalid? Perfectly valid. And I am creating child class. Child c equal to, tell me, child c equal to, so new child of. This one also perfectly valid. But concentrate in Java. So here I am creating object of child class, and here I am holding that parent class of the child class object by using parent reference variable. This is perfectly valid in Corejava level, like Java level. The frequently used line in the Selenium, Android, Hadoop high-end level. So what is the concept here? The child class object is created, and reference variable is the parent class reference variable. Right? Good. So now the conclusion here, this is perfectly valid. So the parent class reference variable is able to hold child class object. Our father is able to hold ourself. My father is able to hold myself. In the same way here I am writing child c equal to new parent. So I am creating object of which class? Always think after new keyword it is object here. After new keyword it is the object. So clear? Good. New parent I am creating object here. But here the problem here, the child class is unable to hold the parent class object. This is perfectly invalid. So the conclusion here, the parent class object possible, child class object possible, and parent, my father is able to hold myself, but myself is unable to hold my father. So point is clear. So parent class reference variable is able to hold child class object, but child class is unable to hold the parent class object. These lines are very important. You are the Java developers, you must know information about these lines. Ratan, I don't know these 4 lines, Ratan. You don't know Java, simple word. You don't know Java. There is an always concentration on these 4 methods. Otherwise in the screen it is not good. So can please concentrate here. The board I will write that points and I will explain clearly. So concentrate. So you know the parent class reference variable is able to hold the child class object, right? But I am writing the method here. The class parent class. Generally parent class I am declaring one method, void m1 method. Assume it contains some implementations. I declared class child. It extends which class here? Parent class. So here I am overriding that method. You know overriding rules, right? I am overriding void m1. So open brace, closure brace. This method is called what? Overriding method. And I am declaring one new method in child class. M2 belongs to child class method. Now tell me, here I declared public static void main and a string array args. Now concentrate. Now tell me here, the parent class contains how many methods? Only one. Child class contains how many methods? 2. One is the overriding method. One is overriding method, one is a direct method. What is the direct method here? M2 method is the direct method. Now in this example, I'm declaring the parent reference variable, parent P, but I'm creating which object? Child object, new child. Parent P equal new child. Tell me in this line which class object is created? Tell me here. After new keyword, child class object is created. The child class object, it is pointing to which reference variable here? P. So which object is created here? Child object is created. So child object is created, but tell me what is the reference variable here? What is the reference variable here? The reference variable is always, here the reference variable is a P. This is the concept. Now here by using P, I am calling P dot M1 method. I am calling P dot M1 method. Then when we call the P dot M1, what is the output? When we call the P dot M2, what is the output? So example is clear. What is the example here? The parent class and child class. Parent class contains M1, child class overriding that method, and child class contains one direct method M2, and main method parent P equal new child. So parent class reference variable, child class object, P dot M1 and P dot M2, right? So I will implement the same example. So can please check the screen here. Check the screen here, test.java. The same example I will write. The class parent, it contains void. What is the method name? I am writing void M1 method. The system dot out dot println of. System dot out dot println of. This is my parent M1 method. So I am overriding this method. So class child is extending which class? Obviously parent class. I am overriding that method in the child class. So this method is called, you know what the method here? Overridden method. This method is called, tell me, overriding method, right? Overridden method, overriding method. This is called which object here? Child M1. I am having one direct method. What method here? M2 method, direct method. This is my child method. This is my M2. Now tell me, this is the direct method. Now here the child class contains one, parent class contains one method, the child class contains one overriding method, one direct method. So clear? Good. Now I declared main method. What is the syntax of the main method here? Public static void main. I declared string array args. Open brace, closure brace. String array args. I am creating, so which object? Child object. How to create the child object here? New child, but the reference variable is the parent P. Reference variable is the parent P. So in this example, I called P dot M1 method. When I call P dot M1 method, tell me what is the output. What is the output? Tell me which class object is created here? Child class object. Child class object is created means what is the output here? Obviously child M1. Which class object is created, that class method will be executed. Now tell me what is the output here? Child M1. Now do the compilation. So code is compiled. Java. What is the class name? Tell me here. So which class contains main method? Child class contains main method, child M1. Now here, so can please observe this line. When we create the object like this, parent reference variable child class object, when we call the P dot M1, it's internal process here. Compile time, compiler will check these methods in parent class. Compile time, compiler will check this method in parent class. So compile time, compiler is checking the parent reference variable. So anyhow, parent class contains M1 method, code is compiled. But runtime, tell me which class object is created at runtime? Which class object is created at runtime? So runtime, which class object is created? Child class object is created. That is the reason which class method is executing here? Child class method will be executed. So concentrate on entire HADOOP, Selenium, Android, any language, the languages, the frameworks which are using Java, we are writing the code like this. Now compile time, compiler check the methods in parent class, and runtime, which class object is created, that class methods will be executed. That is the reason what is the output here? Child M1 is printed. Same way, can you please call p dot m2. When I call p dot m2, tell me what is output here? What is the output? So whenever I'm asking output, immediately you are saying the output is m2. Immediately you are saying the output is child m2, right? Yes or no? Output is also child m2. You are immediately saying the output is child m2, but tell me output is also m2 only. So check, output is m2 or not? So output is not a m2, it generates error messages. What is the error here? P2 is a problem. P dot m2 is not possible. P dot m2 is not possible. Why, Ratan? So just now I completed that point also. Just now I completed that point. Compile time, p dot m2 compile time. Compiler will check the methods in which class here? Parent class. Tell me in the parent class any method is there? Hey, any parent class any method is there? So in the parent class there is no method. That is the reason it will generate error message. So it generates what? Compilation, compiler error. So point is clear? Good. Now concentrate. So p dot m1 I am calling. When you call the p dot m1, so compile time, compiler is checking the methods in which class here? Parent class, method is available, executed. In the child class, which in the runtime, which class object is created here? The runtime child class object is created, child class methods will be executed. Good, no problem. But when we call the p dot m2, compile time, compiler is checking the methods in which class here? Parent class. In the parent class, any m1 method here? Parent class, any m1 method, any m2 method here? There is no m2 method, right? That is the reason it will generate error message. It will generate error message. Now I am asking simple question here. In this example, which class object is created? After new keyword, which class object is created? So immediate answer, Ratan, child class object is created, Ratan. Child class object is created means, child class contains how many methods? Two methods. One is overriding method, one is the direct method. M1 method, M2 method, right? Yes or no? In this example, which class object is created? Child object. Child class contains how many methods? Two methods. But by using P, parent reference variable, it is possible to call how many methods? Only one method. What is that method? Overriding. How many overriding methods are available? All the overriding methods accessing only possible. Why? Compile time it is checking parent class, runtime child class object. So all overriding methods accessing is possible. But M2 is overriding methods or direct method? Direct method, right? Now tell me how to call the direct method. How to call it? The question is clear. The child class object is created. Child class contains two methods. But by using P, we are able to call how many methods? One method. Now I am asking how to call the M2 method. How to call the M2 method? In this scenario, tell me. Don't say Ratan, create the child class object, child C equal new child, call the C dot M1, C dot M2. Don't say like that. In this scenario, tell me. In this scenario, tell me. The high end level, so I'll get the clarity about these lines. So tell me, in this scenario, child class object is created, but by using P reference variable, it is possible to call only overriding method, that is M1. Now, how to access the M2 method? For that one, the answer is perform the typecasting. Now, parent reference variable is there. Parent reference variable. Internally, parent reference variable contains which object? Child object. Then I am converting that parent reference variable to which type here? Child type. Then obviously it returns which object here? Child 1, child C. So concentrate. Directly not possible to access M2 method. That's the reason I am converting parent to child type. Parent to child type. And it returns which object here? Child C object. Child C object. So by using C, can you please call the method? What is the method name here? M2 method. By using C, you are calling C dot M2 method, right? So point is clear. There is a reason here perform the typecasting. So I will do the typecasting. So here directly P dot M2 is not possible. Generate a message. Now P, so parent reference variable, can please convert to the child type. Can please convert the child type. The child type it returns which object? child is got, child is written, then call the c.empty method. Now it is possible. c.empty, it is possible. Tell me, example is clear? So very important at project level. So code is compiled fine. So which class contains main method? Child class contains main method, child m1, child m2. Child m1 and child m2. I know, but concentrate. I know little bit Selenium. I know some concepts in Selenium. In the Selenium, to open the browser, generally they are writing so driver equal to new Firefox driver. Generally they are writing like this. This concept is also known as parent p equal to new child concept. This is called a concept. This is a concept. Which concept? This is a parent, this is a child type, like that. But by using driver class, driver reference, driver object, it is possible to call only which methods? Overriding methods of Firefox driver. So generally, but concentrate, I will give full clarity regarding these points. So generally they are writing like this, but assume class, but it is not a class. Generally WebDriver is interface. Anyhow, I am just declaring in the form of the class. But concentrate, WebDriver is not a class, WebDriver is an interface. WebDriver is a interface reference variable, child implementation class object it is. So here, by using, otherwise leave it, not required. By using driver class object, tell me, so it is possible to access only overriding methods of Firefox driver. Which class object is created here? Firefox driver object is created. So by using driver, it is possible to access only overriding methods of Firefox driver. But the Firefox driver contains some extra methods, right? Rather, how to call the extra methods? So otherwise leave it. I will give full clarity. WebDriver contains void get method. So void, so window method, like XYZ methods. Number of methods are there. So good. But this is the implementation class. Tell me, Firefox driver. It is internally implements. So implements which one here? So WebDriver, right? Internal implements WebDriver. So here it contains generally these two things. Void X method is there. This is a direct method, and here it contains void Y method. Void X and void Y method. But concentrate, these two methods are which methods here? Overriding method. This one is also overriding method, but this one is what? Direct method. This method is also direct method. Now generally here create the object of WebDriver here. So WebDriver. Now WebDriver here, WebDriver I created like this. Now parent class reference variable, child class object. Now here I called a driver dot, the method name is called get. The parent reference variable means compile time compile rechecking methods in which class? Parent class. Who is the parent here? WebDriver. And runtime which class object is created? Tell me. Firefox driver. Which class method is executed here? Firefox driver method will be executed. Firefox driver. In the same way, driver dot get. So driver dot what is second method here? So window method. Directly you can call. But when come to the driver dot, so which class object is created internally? Firefox driver. Firefox driver object is created means we are able to access four methods. The reason I am accessing driver dot X method. So when we write like this, so here compile time compile rechecking methods in which class? Which interface? WebDriver. But tell me, WebDriver contains any X? WebDriver contains any X? There is no X. It generates compilation error. Ratan, how to overcome the problem, Ratan? So driver is the reference variable. I am converting this driver to which format here? Firefox driver. I am converting it to Firefox driver. Then it returns which object? Obviously returns which object? Firefox driver object, Firefox driver F. By using F, we are able to call X and we are able to call Y. This is very important for the Selenium persons. The persons who are planning to learn the Selenium, this example is very important. So point is clear. Interface WebDriver contains two methods. Firefox driver contains overriding get method, window method, and direct methods are X and Y. Now in this scenario, driver.get method means executed. Driver.window is also executed. But when we call the driver.x, compile time it is checking the methods in WebDriver. But compile time X method is not present in WebDriver. That is the reason compilation error. Then I perform typecasting, convert the driver object into Firefox driver. Then you are getting the Firefox reference variable. Once the Firefox reference variable is ready, can you please call the f.x and f.y. f.x and f.y. So there's information about our parent class reference variable and child class object. It's very important. This is the example regarding parent class reference variable and child class object. Now here the example is clear. So p.m2 compile time compile rechecking parent class, but there is no method in the parent class, error message. Then typecasting to the child class, I called by using child class. So this example is very important. This example is important.